Reading about Bhagavad Gita, and I stumbled across where it says that he does not advise Arjuna, which is Krishna or the higher, God or whatever you may spiritually refer to, Supreme Lord, right? When they use Lord specifically, a lot of times, he's advising him don't give up his supreme occupation. The Lord never suggests anything impractical in material world. So there's this talk about materialism versus spiritualism, and that the material world is also tainted, but within that taintedness, there's also the presence of God because it's a reflection, right? And also that reflection is also from a feminine aspect. It says that the material world is made of prakti, but within that taintedness, even within that taintedness, like I said, it refers to the material world as prakti. And within that, it says the society is divided according to work into four divisions because he will never advise humans to not work within this physical world. But as you work, as you harvest, as you manifest material things, he speaks about the four divisions within human and within the intelligent class of the working man, right? So within these four divisions, I see that's the same thing as cardology, surprisingly, right? So you have the hearts, which would be the artisans, the craftsmen, the laborers, the service providers, right? And then you have the clubs, the teachers, the priests, the scholars, the philosophers, the theologians, the teachers going to learning those things. You have the rulers, the administrators, the military leaders, the fire that sometimes the spades come with, right? Because they can become or looking at their hunger for work, for empowerment, right? For land, for resources. A lot of times when you look at the military, they're looking for land, they're looking for resources, they're tilling the ground, not directly, but almost in a way, right? And then also you have the merchant, the farmers, the traders, the businessmen, which would be the diamonds. So within the text, you can also see, within the cardology checks and a lot of the cardology books, you can also see a lot of these comparisons made in the Bible as well. So between the Bhagavad Gita and the Bible, you can see how there's four divisions within life, within occupation. And it says that these occupations are also within the spirit of man in a spiritual way as well. And within this, I will also want to kind of relate this to whenever they speak about the reptilian brain and the divisions of the mind, right? There's also a connection there. So cardology is more than just a principle outside itself. You can see these principles within a lot of spiritual texts, a lot of religious texts as well. So whenever you're looking at these things, it's not to be seen as just this metaphysical principle that has no foundation, that has no, that's just made up or just spiritual hoopla, right? You can also find these within your own basis of religion a lot of times. Like I said, a lot of times bringing forth diamonds and laying up your treasures within heaven, right? It said, let the waters bring forth abundantly, be fruitful and multiply, and have dominion, could be the Bible. And God said, let the earth bring forth, could be the spades. And then also you have the clubs, which is the breath, right? Between man knowing the difference between God, good and evil, and God breathing the spirit, the breath into man, which is the clubs, right? And then you have the hearts. And in the beginning, the creative fire, for God so loved the world, and the principle is love. So you have these four basic principles, even within your religious text, within the Bible, that you can see. And then also you have these particular four principles within the Bhagavad Gita as well, and they are in the form of the occupation of the man. For every man cannot leave this earth and must sustain himself through work. So that's it for the day. So even within the Bible, it says that lazy hands should make for poverty and diligent ones should bring wealth. And then also from the sweat of your brow, you should bring forth food. A man who does not work shall not eat. And then also the concept of responsibility within Timothy, right? So I just think it's interesting how the Bhagavad Gita breaks it down a little bit more, because I always said that we wasn't giving foundational principle. We wasn't given a roadmap, right? So I love the way the Bhagavad Gita breaks the occupations down of man, right? Because we're always looking at spirituality versus materialism, but within this materialism or within this world, one must work. Is reference of the Bhagavad Gita. And what are you working on? What is your soul speaking to? What is your purpose within this world? So within the Bhagavad Gita, it talks about the manifestation of the material world is manifesting out of goodness, passion, and ignorance. And also within these, and within this manifestation is within our occupations of manifestation, so which is Santana Dharma. So that's why I always try to look at celebrities or compare these things as far as people just living out their purpose, right? We're always given the purpose, and a lot of times I say we was put here with no instructions, but if you look at all these other spiritual sections, there is instructions. There are the purpose that is laid by the foundation of what the Bhagavad Gita looks at as the Lord, right? And our Santana Dharma, reaching moksha, which is eternal occupation of the living entity, while temporarily engaged in different activities, but all these activities can be purified when we give up all temporary activities and take up activities prescribed by the Supreme Lord. So a lot of times, like I said, that's why a lot of times I look at celebrities and look at people's purpose and scoped out that cardiology is showing you purpose, is showing you people are living within their purpose no matter what they do, no matter what they say. That's why a lot of times I go here and talk about these things or give this information, because we all are, as the Lord or within the Bhagavad Gita said, one should accept only things set aside for him by the Lord as his quota for his maintenance. What is your purpose? So what is the lane set aside for you, which is eternal occupation of the living entity? We are temporarily engaged in these activities, but all these activities are purified when we give up temporary activity and take the activities which are prescribed by the Supreme Lord. So what is your lane? What is your purpose? That is why I bring to you the cards, because we all are living our purpose, and that's why I give you the examples through celebrities or through anything else I see on social media.